Okay, this is the video for chapter 1.4 channel plate. I'm going to go ahead and go to my object layer and go to line, and if you look at that channel plate, we have a C, and the overall width is 1.5 and the height is 1.25. So I'm just going to go type in excuse me, type in 1.5, enter, and I'm going to come down 1.25, enter, and I'm going to type in 1.5, enter, and close that out, and I'm going to zoom into it. And if you look at it, this top line, I can offset it 0.2 down to here, and we're going to have to do a little detective work to recreate this C. I know also I can offset this line over 0.3, enter, and that is going to give me the corner. I'm probably just going to have to work this out a little bit, and then you can follow it and see it once I get through. Okay, 0.3. All right. Now, I'm on a 45-degree angle, so I need to offset both of these lines 0.125. Escape. Let me try that again. I'm going to bring this one down, this one over, and when I do that, that'll give me that 45-degree angle that I'm looking for here. And at that point, I can come down to the bottom and do the same thing. I can offset the bottom line 0.2, and I can offset this one 0.3, which I have here. And now I need to offset 0.125. A little bit confusing in the beginning, but I think we can work it out here. Here and there. And that's going to give me my 45-degree line I need here. And I can start trimming some of this out that I don't need. Trim off of this line here, here, and let's see what else. Yeah, okay. I don't need, I can erase this line, and I can erase this line. Now we want to get the outside 45-degree, and I think I can, let me trim off this line. I don't need any of that. I'm going to trim off of this line here, this and that, and then I can erase this line, I do believe. Now I'm going to come to this top corner. I'm going to offset that. It tells me I go over 1/4 of an inch, so I'm going to offset 0.25. Offset 0.25, enter. This one and this one going down. And where they cross here is where I draw my 45-degree. Then I can trim off of this line. And then I can erase these two. Now I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. Offset 0.25, enter. We'll bring this line up and bring this one over. I can get my 45 from here to there, and now I can trim off of this line here and here, and I can erase this line and that line. So my C is kind of taking shape. We're going to have to look around to see what else we can find. I know from the very back here over, there's a corner at 1.25. So I can go offset 1.25, enter, and offset this over. And then I'll use my extend command to choose these two lines. Right click, left click, left click. Now, at that point, I can trim off of this line this one and this one. And I can draw a line at 45 degrees. Come over here and take ortho off. We don't care how long this line is. We just want to make sure it's 45 degrees. Hit enter. And where it crosses this line is where we trim it. So I'm going to trim off of this line, that 45 degree line I just drew. And then also I'm going to trim off of this line, that line, and off of here. Maybe I'll leave that for right now, but I'm going to trim this one off. Enter. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing up here. Line, come to this point. We don't care how long it is, just make sure it's 45. Hit enter. Go to trim. And I'm going to trim again off of this line. Left click, right click, left click. Okay, now I'm going to trim one more. I know from the very bottom up is going to be 3/8 of an inch. So I'm going to offset 0.375, enter. I'm going to offset this line up and this line down. And then I'm going to extend them over to this line. And I know that this line should be 1/2 of an inch. So what I'm going to do is hit escape there. Let me see if I can grab this. No, I won't do that. And hit escape. I'm going to offset, will be probably the best way to do that. Offset 0.5, enter, this line. Now I can trim off of that line. And I can erase this line. And I can use my extend command. There's a lot going on here. Just bear with me. And extend down to here, this line. Now I'm ready to trim a couple lines I don't need, like that one and that one. Hit escape, trim. I'm going to trim off of these two. Get rid of that one, get rid of that one. There you have the C. A lot harder than it looks. Again, come up here, transfer all your points, put on ortho right here. Transfer all your points up. What I'm going to do first is transfer all my visible points up. Up to here, put a line in right here, offset it. I'm going to go 0.25, enter. Then I'm going to trim. And I'm going to trim off the two ends. Trim, left click, right click, left click, left click. Okay, now I have some hidden lines, so I'm going to go to my hidden layer, go to line, bring that up, bring this one up, that one, and pretty much that should do it. Now all we have to do is trim. We're going to left click, highlight those two, right click, and left click, left click, enter. Now let's go back to object layer, go to line, let's do the same thing this way. I'm going to choose all my object visible lines. These are what we can see. Go up here, we have one line, bring it down, offset it 1/4 of an inch, hit enter, bring that over. Go to trim, choose these two lines, left click it, then right click, then left click by selecting everything, left click. Okay, trim again, trim off the two top and the bottom, right click, left click, left click, enter. Now let's go back and pick up our hidden lines. Let's go to trim, choose these two lines, then right click, and come down to left click, left click. All right, go ahead and pick that one up, left click. Okay, enter. Now, not really looking for too many dimensions here. Just give me like, just remember here, give me the overall height on this one. I don't know what happened here. Let me go back. Back up. I need linear dimension, not line. And see how my dimensions, they are a little bit too big. So I'm going to go to Format, Dimension Style, Modify, and go to, let's see, Primary Units, and Text. I'm going to drop that back to 1. Then I'm going to use my symbols and arrows. I'm going to drop those to 1.1, I mean. Hit OK. Close it. Then I'm going to come up to the top view, go to Linear Dimension, choose the corner, drop that in. Then I'll probably put one angular dimension just to represent that 45, like that. Linear. I really format, I might want a dimension style, modify, primary units, text, I might drop that to 0.75. Make it a little bit smaller. Okay. Now linear dimension from here to there. Maybe zoom out and then go to your move command. If you need to, highlight this, move that view over a little bit, give yourself some more room. Same deal here, move, highlight everything, right click, then left click, move it straight up. Make sure you got ortho on. If you don't, it won't go straight. Put a couple more dimensions on here, linear. We could put don't put it like this, you know, line it up with the one on the bottom. And maybe one more here. Again, I'm not looking for too many dimensions. Something like that. Now, create your block, call it 1.4, hit OK, put a window around it, select everything, then right click. Go to title block, insert. We want 1.4. I'm going to leave it at scale of 1, and that's real small. So I'm going to go back to insert, and I'm going to change that to maybe 2. Something like that. And then left click, drop it in. Put your name, and make sure you call this 1.4, chapter 1.4, and turn that in.